Today, we are going to talk about how to execute a brilliant email marketing campaign. As I started to think about this topic, one of my swim coaches popped into my brain, and I was thinking about him. He was a yeller. And at one swim meet of mine, I had just finished a race and I came up to him and he started screaming at me. He's like, Donna, how is the fastest way to get from one point to another? And I'm like, and I didn't answer him. And he got more and more irritated. And then he yells, a straight line. Well, at the time, he was talking about my stroke. He was saying the fastest way to get from here to there is a straight line. He didn't want to see my arm going out to the side. Well, that's the same with our email marketing campaigns. You want to get on a straight line, a straight path from execution to achieving your goals and your objectives. So how do we do this? How do we execute a brilliant email marketing campaign? Well, first we got to do a little research. First, you got to make sure that you determine what are your objectives? Like, why do you want to do this email marketing campaign? Don't say just to increase sales. It has to be deeper than that. Yes, as business owners, we all want to make more money. We want to get our businesses to the next level, but understand why you want to do this. Why do you want your company to be seen as a thought leader? Why do you think your product is going to help manufacturers? Or why do you think people could take advantage of buying used equipment? Whatever it is, understand your objectives and have a strong why. Make sure everyone in your organization is aware of that. The objectives, your goals, your why. Because then what happens is instead of everyone being out here doing their own work, they all start to come together. And now you're all going to be walking that straight path or swimming that straight path. The second thing is you've got to know and understand your audience. This is something I talk about a lot because it is imperative that you know this information. If you don't know this information or take the time to do the research, that's where you start wasting your money and your time. You start doing all this marketing all over the place to different groups that won't serve you, that won't help you with your purpose. And so you have to make sure you know and you understand your audience. Going back to the swim coach, if my swim coach had taken the time to really understand me, what would resonate with me, he would have known yelling at me like that was not going to help me resonate, to retain it, to be able to execute it the proper way the next time. If he calmed down a little, explained it to me, showed me, I would have retained it. I would have been able to try it out in practice and then used it in a meet. Same thing. When you start to know and understand your audience, one, when you know them, you're able to pinpoint them so you reach the right people. But understanding them, that's when you start to create content these people will resonate with. Making the pieces more educational. And the only way to do that is if you understand them. The third thing is then you have to find an opted in, very important, opted in compliant list that reaches your target audience. Now be as granular as possible. Gone are the days of sending mass email promotions out to a large group of people and getting the right people to respond. You will waste a lot of time trying to cultivate any leads into buyers if you go into a large group. But if you go into a smaller group, say CEOs, pharmaceutical manufacturing companies that are looking for HPLC machines within the next, 6 months in the United States. If you're able to get a list that's that specific, look at all those steps. I always say when you can get a specific list like that, you will save your sales team 5 steps because they already know all this other information. They already know what you're looking for. They already know there's a need for what you have. So they can cut through the chase and just start giving them the most important parts for them to make the final decision of yes. So now you know your objectives, you know and understand your audience. You've got this great list that's very targeted and specific to your audience. Now, spend time on your subject line. Now, I'm stressing this. I wish I had a pen to underline subject line. Spend some time here. A lot of people, they don't give much thought into their subject line. It's like an afterthought. I've gone into clients before and said, well, what's your subject line? And they're like, oh, we don't care. Use whatever you want. You don't care. The subject line is the gatekeeper. The subject line is the assistant who is going to give you the mail piece. The subject line is the trailer to a movie. Your subject line is very important because if the subject line doesn't resonate with your recipient, they're not going to open up the email. And so everything that you did, all the parts you pulled together, the hours you spent writing that content, understanding and knowing your audience, finding a list, maybe renting a list. So the money you spent on it, if the subject line doesn't resonate with them, they don't open it. It's all a waste of money. You might as well just take your money and throw it out the door. So your subject line is extremely important. Matter of fact, if I sit down with someone and we're looking at a pie chart, I'm saying 80% of your time is on the subject line. Because if they don't find the subject line appealing, they never get to the inside, the content. So think about your subject line. Don't go crazy and do a subject line that gets people to open it, but inside the content doesn't match up with your subject line. Don't create clickbait that all that will do is get you a ton of people coming in, not the right people. Make sure your subject line is specific to your audience, what they need. How are you going to help them? Is it immediate? Is there a date? Is there some type of urgency that they've got to respond to this right away? Put that all in the subject line. Now you're on to the content. Years ago, people would put together content promoting their products, saying we're the best. We've been around for 42 years. You've got to work with us. No, it is no longer about you. It is about them. You've got to talk to them about what's in their mind, what keeps them up at night. You have to walk in their shoes. So think about what challenges they're having, what goals they're trying to achieve, what's happening in their industry by the economy. All those things, because now you're going to create educational pieces of content that will help inform these people, that will keep them educated. You're going to give them tidbits in this content that they could leave and maybe utilize. It's not always, oh, I'll give you information if you buy from me. No, give, just give, keep giving information. And what will happen is these people will start to see you as a thought leader in your space. They will see you as someone who is genuinely caring about them. Right now, for us, I want to be out there talking. I want to be out there talking about quality marketing initiatives. Why? Yes, of course. I would love for some people to use my services, but that's not it. I am sick of hearing about companies telling me, oh my goodness, we spend $6,000 a month on our social media, but it hasn't brought us anything. We paid $10,000 to do a direct email campaign. We didn't get one lead. What do you mean $10,000 and you did not get one lead? There's something seriously wrong there. And someone has to stand up and say what it is. Get yourself a third party that will speak their minds. You've got to have the people that say, no, that is a waste of your time. That is a waste of your budget. Don't do that. You need to be doing that. So concentrate on content that gives and offers value. Then after you send out the email, analyze it. Analyze it and look at it from all different directions. When you do that, you start to find some common denominators that will really help you change all your future campaigns so that each email marketing campaign will be better than the last. That's what we're all after. We want to improve. We want to get a better response, but we also want to give people the information that they really need. Marketing as a whole needs this right now. Marketing doesn't need more people sending out generic messages to big, broad lists. All that does is put a bad light on marketing. People come back and say marketing doesn't work. I'm bombarded all the time by marketing messages. If you send messages that are very specific, educational, offering value to a specific targeted group, that group of people is not going to say, marketing is bombarding me. Marketing is obtrusive. No, they're not. They're going to say, oh, thank goodness I got this. This has really helped me. But be genuine, don't lie, and be totally upfront. The seventh and the last thing is set up a workflow so that as you do these emails, you can then nurture these individuals with additional pieces of educational material. So maybe the first promotion, maybe it's a buyer's guide or it's a webinar they attend. Make sure the next piece is a nice compliment that continues that conversation going. You want to continue to give these people information so that then they respond back. This way, you start to almost create a conversation, but you also start to build trust. As they start to trust you more, they will make the decision to buy from you. And when you build those deep relationships, those will be the relationships that will stand the test of time. Thus, every year you won't be searching for new clients. Every year you will be going up to the next level. This is how you're going to be able to create an effective email marketing campaign. You do all these pieces and your campaign will be brilliant because it's not going to be generic. It's going to be specific for what you have to offer to the specific group with content that offers value. It's not just a sales piece. It is time for everyone in marketing to start doing these things. If you care about the industry you're in, if you're a marketing director, marketing manager, business owner, please stop. Start to do quality marketing initiatives. These are the type of initiatives that are going to help your businesses grow year after year. Probably twice a week, I post tips on YouTube. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. Feel free to reach out to me at dpeterson at worldinnovators.com if you have any questions. I hope you have a wonderful day and see you next time. Bye.